All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a pretty fundamental shift in how public policy and, major projects are influenced today. And it's a change that goes way beyond the traditional world of lobbying and closed-door government briefings.
So, just for a second, really think about that. Who are the people that actually shape the conversation where you live? I'll give you a hint. It is almost certainly not who you think it is. And for big organizations, getting this question wrong, well, it's never been more costly. For decades, the public affairs playbook was pretty simple, right? Meet with the ministers, brief the regulators, engage the big industry bodies. You just had to check all the official boxes. But here's the thing. In today's world, that is just not enough, not even close. The real outcomes are no longer decided just in those rooms.
What's really taken over is this incredibly powerful force called the community narrative. This is basically the story a community tells itself about a project or a new policy. It's that local conversation that's happening everywhere, in Facebook groups, at the local coffee shop, in business networks. And this narrative, it can literally make or break a billion-dollar project before a single official paper ever gets signed.
And that brings us to this critical blind spot. Just imagine a big new renewable energy project. The company has all the regulatory approvals lined up, but the project gets stuck, endlessly delayed by local opposition. So why? It's because a narrative took hold that it would harm a local ecosystem. And that story wasn't amplified by a politician. No, it was amplified by a beloved high school science teacher who happens to run a popular local nature blog. That teacher is the piece of the puzzle the company completely missed.
And this slide just illustrates the problem perfectly. On one hand, a corporate affairs team knows all the official players inside and out, the ministers, the regulators, you name it. But on the other hand, what they often have zero visibility on is who holds the real influence on the ground. They don't know about that science teacher or that respected local business owner. They have no idea who is shaping that all-important community narrative, and that is the gap. So how do you close that gap? Well, the solution requires a completely new way of thinking. It's about shifting from just profiling a few key individuals to actually mapping the geographic patterns of where real community engagement, where the real conversation is actually happening. And this whole thing starts with redefining what we even mean by an influencer. Seriously, forget the typical social media celebrity with millions of followers. In public affairs, a true influencer is someone who shapes the local story simply because they have credibility and trust within their specific community. Their power isn't their follower count, it's their authenticity. So who are these people? Well, they're the local business owners everyone knows and trusts. They're the dedicated community organizers who are at every event, the regional advocates who have earned respect over decades of work. They can even be cultural figures, local sports heroes, or maybe digital creators who've just built a really credible local following. These are the real amplifiers.
And this right here is the whole point. This is the crucial strategic leap. It's the difference between just broadcasting a corporate message at people and having that exact same message shared organically by voices the community already knows and believes in. One is just noise. The other, that's genuine acceptance.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually put it into practice? There is a modern 4-step playbook for this, for identifying and engaging these trusted voices in a way that's focused, ethical, and totally compliant. Let's break it down. First up, it's about geographic ID. You have to move beyond broad demographics and actually map the specific towns or neighborhoods where opinion is really being formed. Second, you find the hotspots. This is about finding that digital town square, pinpointing the clusters where the community conversation is happening online. Third, you partner locally. This means building real relationships, investing in local ambassador programs with those trusted voices we talked about. And finally, number 4, you amplify their message digitally, supporting their organic reach to make sure the right people in the right place hear. At the end of the day, this entire strategy is about one thing: earning your social license to operate. And here's the key. In today's world, that license isn't just some regulatory hurdle you clear. It's social, it's granted, and believe me, it can be taken away by the community itself. And the impact of getting this right, it's huge. When you engage with real community influencers, like our science teacher, suddenly consultation becomes constructive instead of combative. The benefits of a project are actually believed because they're coming from a trusted source. You're building that trust from day one, which can soften or sometimes even prevent opposition from ever really taking root. So what's the big takeaway here? The real strategic advantage in modern public affairs It really comes down to three things. First, truly understanding where the local narrative is actually being formed. Second, knowing precisely who those credible local voices are that amplify that narrative. And third, and this is maybe the most important part, engaging those communities through genuine trust rather than just adding to all the corporate noise. That right there, that is the new playbook. Let's just end on this final thought because it really sums it all up. The game has changed. Community influencers now hold just as much power as formal institutions. And the future of public affairs, well, it belongs to those who can engage these critical voices with precision, with transparency, and with a real measurable impact.